This is Wife Material Podcast, Episode 1, Wife Resume. Pretty much is the concept of what you bring to the table, or what you should bring to the table. So I'm giving you some tips, some advice for you ladies on what you should bring to the table. Because whenever I see most women get asked this question, they don't seem to have an answer. You think by that's, I can understand. I mean, one or two women don't have an immediate answer just because they typically are not asked that question. But you would think after a while, especially being on the internet, or even dating a lot, they would already by now, especially when it comes to marriage. Because that's the thing. When it comes to the concept of what you bring to the table, what you bring to the table basically for a marriage, not what you bring to the table just for dating. Because it doesn't matter what you bring to the table for dating. For dating, you really only need to bring yourself, your real self, not no fake stuff, not no lies, not no games. Don't pretend you like me just because you want to eat at my table. You know, no, that's wrong, right? You want to, if you just want to date, that is fine. Just be upfront with it. If that's all it's ever going to be, it's never going to go beyond that. That's cool. But when it comes to the concept of what you bring to the table, is always for the idea of being a wife. What do you bring to the table of being a wife? Other than sex, other than just existing, what do you bring? As a human being, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the partnership, the relationship, whatever you want to call it, right? Because technically, a relationship is it's structured just like a job. It's always been like that for thousands of years. Structured like a job. You have the boss and you have an employee. Your job is to get hired by the boss, and the boss is supposed to be your man, right? So if you want the position of being his wife, being his woman, being the love of his life, being the mother of his children, this, that, and the third, you gotta meet the requirements. You gotta qualify for it. You gotta have a PhD in wifing, right? You gotta be a wife. You gotta have a wife resume. That's the point of this podcast. You gotta have a wife resume. First thing, skills, right? Number one thing that should be in your resume is skills, like actual skills. What are you good at? Are you good at doing taxes? Are you good at writing? Do you got good handwriting? A lot of times that does matter if you're good at handwriting, because what if your man is handwriting's not the best, yours is better, then you would be useful in writing a lot of things for him because you're better at writing. Again, if you're good at taxes, right? You're better than him in taxes. That's helpful because then you can help him with taxes, right? Other tasks like being organized, like the fact that you understand the concept of like being organized and being efficient and making things easier, that's useful because then that's a skill not only you have for yourself, but it's a skill you can transfer over to your husband and your kids. Teaching them how to clean after themselves, how to have things organized, make the most out of things. Sometimes some people will have like let's say a coffee make. We'll have like a printer and a copier. Like two separate devices, right? A printer and a copier instead of getting a all-in-one device, right? An all-in-one printer, copier, fax, whatever, right? Scanner, I think it's one of the things that they mentioned. Scanner, right? So it's better to get something that has multiple use, which is more efficient than having different stuff. Like if you have a blender, you want the blender to do a lot of different things. Not only blend and make smoothies or something, but also be able to slice and dice like vegetables and stuff, so you can make, you can make soup and salads or whatever you need to slice and dice vegetables for it, or fruits to make fruit salad, right? That kind of stuff. So you always want like the Swiss Army knife concept of whatever you use. And the same thing goes for being a woman, right? Being a wife, is that you're supposed to have multiple skills that makes you very, very useful in many ways. The understanding of the human body, for example, like knowing how to use bandage, how to use hydroperoxide, how to use home, first aid kits, right? It's good just to have the knowledge of how to handle a cut, bruises, things of that nature. It's just medical stuff, right? It's good to have that knowledge. Anybody should have that. It's a survival skill. That's the main thing. Is like your skills have to be not just for being a wife, being a homemaker, but also for actual survival. You end up on an island. Do you know how to cook a fish, a crab, a rabbit, or whatever, right? Whatever is on the island, birds and stuff like. Do you know how to cook? Right? Do you know how to cook meat? Right? For subsistence. Do you know how to fish? Do you know how, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the stuff you can learn, but that's the thing. You have the internet, right? You have YouTube and stuff like that, and you can learn these skills, like cooking, cleaning, blah, blah, blah. Well, most women nowadays don't want to even learn those skills just so they have the knowledge. They rather just like, nah, I don't need to learn how to cook. I just use Grubhub, Uber Eats or something. I don't need to learn how to drive a car. I don't even care if a guy has a car. You know why? Because I Uber everywhere. It's like, okay, you're welcome. We men, society, right? We created these abilities that you don't have to cook. You can just use Grubhub. You don't have to have a guy who have a car to take you around because you can just Uber. But the funny thing is, right, cooking and the Uber thing was something that men and women in relationships did. The men having the car was your Uber, right? You knowing how to cook, you made sure that you and him ate, right? Y'all had skills that benefit each other. Y'all were able to serve each other in capacities that benefited each other. Because obviously you could cook for yourself, but it was also helpful that you can also cook for him. He obviously can drive for himself. He owns the car, right? But he can also drive you wherever you need to go. And then there's the interchange. Maybe one day he'll cook, or maybe for a week he'll cook, and you'll do driving, Like, y'all can interchange from time to time, right? But ultimately, cross-training, basically. He'll teach you how to drive, you'll teach him how to cook some stuff. That way, y'all better each other in that regards. But when you literally have somebody who doesn't want to cook, with somebody who, not that they don't want to, because just they don't know how to cook, or yes, Uber Eats is very, very convenient, DoorDash and stuff. Since this is more convenient, it's easier to not know how to cook than it is to know how to cook. I myself know how to cook. I do like to cook. I definitely like to eat. I definitely should be eating healthier. That's for sure. So of course I'm always trying to improve on that. But that's the funny thing. Even I'm looking at it from that point of view. Like, when I say women need to learn how to cook, it's not for, oh, you need to learn how to cook for me. No, you need to learn how to cook for yourself, because it's a useful skill. I learned how to cook for myself. I was at a point where, I raised by my mother, right? Raised in a way where I did the man stuff and my sisters did the female stuff, right? So me and the boys, my brothers, right, we do the guy stuff and the girls do the girl stuff. But when you get into, sometimes you will see that there'll be a disparity. There'll be a time where the girls don't do the girl stuff, like cooking, for example. So if none of the females in the house wants to cook, then no one gets to eat, because the males in the group don't know how to cook. And it's not like they're against cooking. They'll gladly cook if they knew how. And that's where the irony comes in, right? Where the necessity came in. It's like, yeah, we got to learn how to cook. So we took the time to cook. We messed up, of course, because we didn't know what we were doing. And the irony is, right, we learned how to cook on our own. We weren't taught to cook. Not saying that, some of us didn't ask. I definitely asked my mom how to make rice better. Show me how she makes rice, because, me trying to figure it out wasn't perfect. It was, I was good, just not perfect. It's like, yeah, I'd rather cook the way you do it, because I like the way you do it. So show me how you do it, and I'll learn. And that's the thing. Ain't nothing wrong with learning, and improving yourself. But that's the whole point. Skills, knowledge. So your wife's resume should have, skills. Cooking is a useful skill, whether you're a wife or not. Cleaning, same thing. Even if you don't want to clean for somebody else, teach their own, but at least clean for yourself. I've known many females that will be like, I don't cook, I don't clean, right? Yeah, it shows. It shows you don't cook. shows you don't clean for yourself, because you're nastier than most guys. I'm more surprised when I see a female's bedroom or bathroom or anything that has to do with a woman, or when a woman is not even being dolled up. When a woman is just being comfortable or casual, it tends to be very bummy. It's like, this is not normal. I expect this from a guy, especially from a very, very lazy guy. I don't expect this to be a normal thing for a woman to do, ever. Whether she's lazy or not, I don't expect her to be at that level of dressing but smelling, having holes in her clothes. The house is her room, the place that she sleeps, that she lays her head down, is more messy than a guy's room. Like, that's not normal. And it hasn't been like that for hundreds of years. But now in the modern day, it's I don't gotta do shit, just be on my phone all day. And that's another thing, is most women spend so much time on their phone, and men too, but mainly women spend so much time on their phone, on Instagram and stuff like that, that time tends to go fast. Like, they'll spend an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 hours on their phone and then be like, dang, it's been 3 hours. Yeah, it's been 3 hours you've been on your phone and you didn't do anything. You didn't clean anything. You didn't eat anything. You didn't learn anything. And that's the most important thing. Is you didn't learn it. You spend 4 hours on your phone and didn't learn anything. You literally have the access to knowledge of the world. You have access to the knowledge of men, right? The knowledge men cultivated, men collected, men saved, men made available to the world through satellites and internet and web pages and cloud computing and all that stuff. Yet you rather waste all that knowledge and power on checking to see how many guys liked your bikini picture. Like, really? You want to spend that much? You want to spend all that valuable time in your life checking to see how many likes you got, as opposed to checking how to change a light bulb, or how to change your own tire, this, that, and the third, or how to make healthier anything, healthier potato chips or something, healthy cookies or something. You know what I mean? Like, if you like, let's say you like to eat like cookies and cakes and stuff like that. All right, cool. But here's the thing: when you buy cookies and cakes and stuff, aka products from companies, these companies don't care about your health. These companies don't care if you're healthy. They don't care if you got cancer or you get cancer from eating their product. They don't care that they put cement in their products. That's another thing. A lot of people don't even know what's in the stuff they're eating. They don't even realize there's stuff in the stuff they're eating that isn't stuff you should be eating, like concrete, like cement, actual small particles of cement. You're eating it. That's why it's no surprise when I hear people, I be hearing stuff like, oh, I got kidney stone. Yeah, because you've been eating a lot of stuff that probably has a lot of cement in it. Since you ate so a lot of it, yeah, now you got kidney stone. Literally, cement rocks in your body. Duh. Cement and water, what happens? Mix, it turns into what? Cement. Cinder blocks, right? Like common sense, but common sense ain't as common as it used to be. That's for another video, right? But the thing is that skills like cooking, cleaning, healthcare, like somebody gets injured, you can just they fall and they scrape their knee, bandages, that kind of stuff. Clean the wounds up. It's good to have these skills for yourself in case you get hurt. You can take care of yourself, or if somebody else gets hurt, you can take care of them. Learning CPR, high maneuver, stuff like that is useful. It's just useful life skills. You should know how to take care of yourself as well as be able to take care of others. And the more practice you have taking care of others, the better you are at taking care of yourself. And if you're the type of person who's good at taking care of yourself, it's easy. It's with no effort. You're capable of taking care of somebody else. I mean, me, I can take care of kids easily, like raising them. I definitely would be a great father, but I'm not yet financially capable of being able to have to financially take care of kids and a significant other, a wife, right? So I would still have to make way more money than I already am. My net worth is roughly 5 figures, but gotta get to 6 figures, right? That's what women want, 6 figures and up. So I'm still working on that. But I've been wanting kids since I was 14. I'm currently 39, so it's like, well, I love to have done the husband and wife thing a long, long time ago, but it was money. It wasn't like there was an opportunity. There was plenty of women, but it was ultimately money. And it's like if I don't have the means to one take care of myself, I definitely can't take care of a girlfriend type thing, as well as want to be able to take care of a child type situation, right? So I won't be able to take care of anyone beyond myself because it was, already going to be hard to take care of myself in the first place, especially in this day and age. With certain issues in this world, but I do have a lot of opportunity, being able to do stuff. I do a lot of online stuff to make money, so that's where the 5 figures comes in. Where I have more than just this job. Like right now, I'm at work doing this podcast, so I'm working while working, right? So I'm doing this podcast. Probably be able to make money from this, and on top of the fact that I'm at work making money, I do stuff on my phone to make money. I got multiple businesses, just generating dollars here and there. I invest in the stock market and so forth and so forth. So that's, my money's going is only going up. My money can only go up, not down. So, and that's my skill, right? I'm learning to get money, and and I don't have it the easy way. Ironically, I have an Onlyfans, but it's not bringing in any money. But there's that, right? I don't have it as easy as others, if you know what I mean, to make money off of OnlyFans. But in the near future, that will change, and I'll start generating some income from my OnlyFans account eventually. And there's many other things that I'm working on. But this is not about me. This is about wife resume thing about the what to bring to the table. So skills that are useful not only in the house but in survival. In case you're on a desert island, having survival skills will be useful. Having technical skills like with technology, understanding how to use, smartphones, the internet, smart houses, because in the future, you're gonna have a smartphone, Alexa and all that stuff. Being able to use stuff like that, be able to manage a house literally with the power of a phone, stuff like that would be useful. Mentioned the idea of useful skills like tax, being able to do taxes and be able to find discounts and find ways to make it where you don't have to spend a lot for stuff. I know it'd be easier like, oh, you know what, I want that bag or I want that item over there. Oh, it's $2,000. Well, my man will pay $2,000 for it. No, try to see if you can get that same bag for less. That's a useful skill. Get stuff you want on sale, save your man money, than to just be like, nah, I want that now. Let me pay $2,000 for it. Well, he will pay $2,000 for it. Like, whoa. If you would like to pay for stuff for yourself, that's good. Not against you having money, you having ways to bring in money into the relationship. Nothing wrong with that. Just understand that that's what you're doing. Is you're providing another service, right? That's a skill that you have that you're able to bring in more money into the relationship, into the household, beyond, or outside of your husband's, income. That's great and all, but definitely do not weaponize it. Do not use it as a way to disrespect him or this and there. That's not your job, right? That's not your purpose there. That's not why you're there for. Just like you wouldn't go to work, right? Get a job at some place, and then you start a eBay account, start making some money off of selling some stuff on eBay, and then start going to work and start disrespecting your boss. Start telling your boss what you will not be doing at work. Like, what? No, it doesn't work that way. Oh, why? Because you have an eBay account now, you can tell your boss what to do? No. So it's the same thing as being in a relationship, a marriage, right? It's like, it's great that you're bringing in more money to the business, aka the relationship, but don't disrespect the business, that you're currently in just because you're making outside money, from a side hustle or an extra stream of income. All it is an extra stream. It's supposed to help benefit the union, the relationship. Because if you care more about the money and the stream of your own individual stream of income, you're better off being single. Why waste time? Why waste not only your own time but also waste the time of a man being in a relationship, a marriage, for example. If you want to get your own bag, well then be single and get your own bag. There's tons of people that rather be single. That's fine. It's okay if there's a small percentage of the world's population that wants to be single until the day they die. It's totally fine. Just stop interacting with people who want to be in relationships. Stop, literally messing around with people who are currently in a relationship or are trying to get into a relationship or just got out of a relationship. Because if your goal is not to be in a long-term relationship, aka wife and husband scenario, or same-sex marriage scenario, however way it goes, don't interact with people who are trying to live a life that's different than yours. If you meet a guy who wants to have a husband and wife relationship, and you don't want that, then you leave him alone. Right? You leave him alone. Don't think that, oh no, I get to have him anyway. No, you leave him alone. You're wrong for doing that. Right? So play your part. If you want to be a wife, then you gotta have a wife resume. You gotta have skills that you're bringing to the relationship. Things that will help your husband, right? That will help your significant other. Other things you can have for your resume besides, like cooking, clean type stuff. Domestic skills. Office related type skills. Be good with paperwork and keep managing stuff like bills and budgeting as useful skills. Because again, your man might not make a lot. Let's say your man only makes 5 figures a year. If you help him manage the money right and not waste it and spend his money like crazy, if you help him manage the money right, y'all can do a lot, have a great life with a 5-figure income, but you made it stretch out like if it was a 6-figure income. If you know what I mean, that's the whole point of budgeting, right? If you get those deals and you can go on a trip to like Hawaii or something for like 50% off or something, or like you bought, or like let's say if you find ways to do things for a lot less than it normally would cost, that will let you stretch out the money. Like that's a lot of times what I consider. I always try to find a cheaper, still good quality version of something, because I just need something, right? Like if I want, like I could buy a bottle of water for $1, for example, or I could just go to like a water fountain or something in an office building and just take an empty bottle and just fill it up with water and bang, there. Free water versus paying $1 for water, right? Like the difference, right? That different factor. Or buy a bottle of water, or just get water from the tap from the faucet from your house, something like that. Like the difference. So let's say I want the bottled water, right? But instead of paying $1, maybe I can find a place where I can get the bottled water for 50 cents, right? Half off. Then that means I can get 2 bottles of water for the price of 1. And that's how you can stretch your money. So that's how you can take a 5-figure income and stretch it up to a 6-figure income, right? If you budget. So having that skill is useful. The husband definitely should try to get that skill himself. He should definitely do that, because if he's a 5-figure earner, definitely should try to stretch that money like it's a six-figure income, just because it's logical. But again, like I said, that would be a useful skill if you're a wife who is good at budgeting and is good at stretching money. If you're good at stretching money, you can easily turn a five-figure, guy into a six-figure guy just by stretching out his money properly. You know what I mean? Because that would be easier than trying to bother him over and over again. Can you stop making five figures and start making six-figure? Like, maybe you need to work twice as hard. Instead of working 40 hours a week, work 80 so you can make double the money. Like, damn, really? He has to work 80 hours a week to wow. Why couldn't you just, like I said, budget, right? Get the skill of budgeting and make it where you can live off of less money instead of just always trying to live using more money. Because to me, that's very wasteful. Spending $100,000 to live. I like the idea of having like $100,000, for example, income, right? But spend like 20,000 of that a year. Like, I'd rather be in that scenario. I'd rather spend as if I only make $20,000 a year, but I actually only make like $100,000. That way, there's always extra income for any random thing. Like, that's just logic. But some people, the only reason a woman will want a guy with six figures is because she plans to spend more than 50% of that six figure in 1 year. So that's why he has to make it every year, because she plans to spend more than 50% of that. So she might want to spend $200,000 a year to live her life, right? Live the life that she wants. But he has to be the one to earn it, right? But anyway, that's for another thing. So what else should be on your wife resume? Certain actual physical capabilities, like a height can be helpful. Healthiness, right? Not only be good and knowledgeable when it comes to exercising and fitness, right? But also be knowledgeable in healthy eating, because knowing how to eat healthy not only is good for you to maintain a nice healthy, nice thin or healthy or whatever you want to call it figure, bodily shape. It also has medical benefits. So knowing what's healthy and what's not healthy, what is food and what's not food. Pro tip: if what you buy largely comes in a plastic bag and it's created by a company, has a name brand, right? That's a product, not food. If it's something if there's a bag full of apples, okay, apples are apples. They're not name brand. I'm not talking about Apple like Apple Computer or something. No, they're apples. They're just apples. And then bananas, they're just bananas, right? And so forth, so forth. Like, lettuce is lettuce, tomatoes is tomatoes, right? So see the difference, right? Because there's different types of potato chips and cookies and donuts and soda and so forth and so forth. There's a reason why there's so many of them, because they're products. They're not food. They're products. That's why there's so many different varieties. But a tomato is a tomato. A potato is a potato, right? A lettuce is lettuce. And it doesn't matter where these things came from specifically, no matter what farm or what country these things were grown and imported from. A banana is a banana. Tomato is a tomato, right? So there's a difference between food, things that this planet provides for us already that we should be consuming because it's literally for us to consume, versus the stuff we create ourselves and put names on it, call it famous Amos chocolate chips or skinny popcorn or Arizona green tea, which I like. Arizona, no hate towards Arizona green tea, y'all awesome, but you get my point. No Doritos, no ho-hos or whatever types of stuff is out there. The thing is being health conscious matters. Knowing good health is very beneficial, because humans, we gotta be healthy, right? So we can live longer, not just so we can be sexy, to live longer, right? Health, it's important to be healthy. We are literally not supposed to be plus size. The only practical reason to be plus size, the only survival reason to be plus size is because you're not going to be able to eat anytime soon. And what I mean by that, like 6 months at a time, being plus size is only beneficial if you're on a deserted island for 6 months without food. Then being plus size is a benefit. It's a good thing. Other than that, it's a bad thing. It's a waste. You're literally carrying a whole bunch of stuff you don't need. And of course, there will be a podcast about fitness and health and stuff. This is about the wife resume. So knowing how to be healthy and being healthy should be on your resume. Being able to drive a car, not just always take Uber. That's a useful skill. Being able to do stuff like laundry, understanding how to clean things, even if you don't cook or clean, right? Knowing how to, in case you see somebody who's like, you know what, I'm going to clean the dishes, and they're using shampoo to wash the dishes, and you're like, well, I know enough about doing dishes that you don't use shampoo to do the dishes, or you don't use laundry detergent to do dishes, right? Or if you are going to do that, you better thoroughly clean them dishes. You better make sure there's no liquid detergent residue. There should not be no Clorox bleach in any of these cups, because if somebody puts a drink in there and drinks that drink with that little bit of Clorox bleach, they're literally drinking bleach. Think about how stupid that is. So, use the proper tools for the proper job. And that's why, having the skill, even if you don't use the skill, having it is better than knowing how to cook is better than not knowing how to cook, but then you need that skill. It's like one day you'll be like, you know what, I want to cook, but I don't know how to. It's like, well, you should have learned just in case you felt like cooking someday. Common sense. And other skills like knowing how to, do arts and crafts type stuff. Be able to fix things, like fix clothing or something. That can come in handy, because if you have a nice outfit and then a button falls off the outfit or something falls off the outfit, knowing how to put it back on, sew it back on, so you don't have to spend more money trying to replace it by just buying another one. Obviously, it'd be simpler to just buy another copy of the outfit, but why, when for a lot less you can repair the outfit and continue to use the outfit and save money? Because again, why not save the money to do other things that's more important? So that's why having skills to help you save money, help you make money, these are the types of things that should be on the resume for anybody, not just a wife, but definitely these are things I would like a wife to have. Social skills, vocal skills, know when to control your cursing if you're the type of woman that does curse. It's not very feminine, not something you should do, but if you do, curse, it'd be a good idea to practice discipline, right? Practice the skill of not cursing all the time. Try to find ways to control your vocabulary. Also helps to learn words, right? So having a high vocabulary knowledge is useful. So that's a skill. I classify it as a skill, right? Google, being able to use Google to find information, to find stuff is useful. Even being able to use like Google to find locations, so like Google Maps and stuff. Obviously these are useful things for navigation. And if you want to go somewhere, you better know how to get there. You know what I'm saying? If you want me to drive you somewhere, it'd be nice you know how to get there already, and I'll do the rest. But it's just the fact that things are easier now than it used to be. So it's like I encourage you to take advantage of the stuff that makes things easier, but still you should have it in your mind that you want to do these things, that you want to make sure your significant other, the person you're in a relationship, I'll use the cooking things now. Make sure your man, when he comes home, food is ready, right? You don't necessarily have to cook it, but you need to make sure that it is available. Now, if he's the type of guy that's like, yeah, I don't need you to, cook or or make sure I have dinner. Like, I'll grab something on the way home and whatever, and eat that as dinner or something like that, or he'll cook for himself. All right, well, again, that's between you and your husband, right? Every way he wants to operate, if he wants to make it where you don't cook or clean for him, then that's fine. But ultimately that should be his choice. If he is okay with you not, if that he doesn't require you to do those things because he doesn't need it. They're not cooking and clean. It's not useful to him. Then good for you. Then that's less you gotta do, right? But if he does require you to be good at taxes, then you should be good at taxes. I'm just saying, and vice versa, because there's things you want him to be good at, and he right want him to be good at sexy time, right? So he's going to try to put in the work to get good at it, but you gotta make sure that you understand that what you expect of him, he expects something similar of you. So if you want him to be good at certain things, you need to be good at certain things, because it's only logical. Two human beings interacting with each other have to have things that makes them useful to the other person. Because what you're doing is you're sharing your knowledge, your skills, your abilities. That's why a wife resume, you literally should have a wife resume, right? Piece of paper that you printed out that literally has, you have written down the things that you are good at, things that you can do, things that you've put time and effort to be efficient and proficient and really good at, that if a man asks you, hey, what do you bring to the table? You can literally run through your list, right? Boom, 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 and tell him everything that you can do for him. And another thing is, you have to understand that a lot of the stuff you're going to have on your wife resume is going to be basic stuff that any woman in general or any human being can do. What's extra nice is make sure you mention, obviously, that you have a list of the most basic stuff you can do, common sense stuff, but then also have your specialties. That's the thing. Most women don't have specialties. They think they're special. They say they're special. I'm a queen. I'm a diva. I'm a snowflake. I'm a princess. I'm all this, that, and the third. But it's like, but when you check, literally, right, you check their resume as a word, right? You ask them questions and you check how they live their life and how they do things. It's like, but you're not doing anything that no other woman's doing. Right? You're not doing anything special. It's like you're doing less than the last chick I dated. Like, I dated a chick that did 10 times more things than you, and you're doing half that. So you're not better. You're not special. Different, because you're doing less than the last woman, right? But you're not better. The last woman was better because she did more, and that respects. So you need to make sure that you have unique skills, that there's things you can do that the average person can't do. That's where it gets down to the idea of, like, why Albert Einstein is Albert Einstein, Elon Musk is Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos is Jeff Bezos. Because I had the idea for Amazon before the internet was even useful. Even before the internet was useful, when the information about the concept of computers, connected it and sending data amongst each other, when that was a thing, I was already thinking of Amazon. And even before, and that was before even Jeff Bezos thought of, let me sell books online, then create Amazon, right? Which was just to sell books, but then he pivoted and was like, you know what, I want to sell everything. But I already was thinking of using the internet to sell everything. I expected everything on this planet to be available through the internet, to use the internet, connect the world, and now whatever you want, you'll have access to it through the internet. You can buy whatever you want anywhere in the world, not just in where you live, right? And now we have Amazon. Jeff Bezos made it happen. I had the idea before even he had the idea, but hey, he made it happen, so he wins, right? What else for the wife resume? Obviously, communication skills is important. Problem-solving skills are important. Being able to communicate is very important. Guys tend to be logical. Guys tend to think a certain way, and they tend to solve problems a certain way. And you need to be able to understand how they do that, how they think, how they solve these problems, be able to understand them. I had an ex-girlfriend that a lot of times I would say something and she would totally misunderstand it. Like she would totally think that what I said had a different meaning than what I actually said. It's like, no, this is what I was saying when I was talking to you, but she thought I was saying something else. And then her reaction was based off of what she thought I was saying. It's like, wow, you really didn't understand what I said. You took what I said and turned it into something else. I was saying something nice and you turned it into an insult. How did that happen? I wasn't insulting you, but you took it as an insult. And you interpret it as an insult, which means you didn't understand what I said, which is why you turned it into an insult and then got mad at me, even though I didn't insult you. You just took it that way because you didn't understand. And sometimes I would have to dumb down a lot of stuff I say so somebody can understand. And I definitely hate it when I have to dumb down something to a female, a woman. I hate having to talk to a woman like she's a 5-year-old. I shouldn't have to. You know, she's in her 20s, her 30s. I should be able to talk to her as an equal. I should be able to talk to her, tell her, you know, my ideas, what I'm thinking, you know, how I want things to be, and she should be able to understand it. So comprehending, understanding, problem solving, you know, things like that is very important. Being able to understand that certain words have more than one meaning, so you need to make sure that your husband, right, if you're interacting with him and talking to him, that you need to make sure you understand what he means when he says certain things. Don't assume you know what he means. No, make sure you know what he means. You know, like there's things like slang. Like slang is a thing. You need to know, you know, your husband's slang, because I know there's different slangs around the world from different cultures. So there's different, you know, so obviously different men are going to use certain words differently, like use certain slang terms, for example, if they're using slang, right? And, you know, if you don't understand all these different types of terms, you can misinterpret something. You can easily misunderstand. And that tends to happen a lot, miscommunication. Miscommunications tend to happen more often from the female side of the equation than the male side. The male side, if what happens on the male side when like a woman talks to a man and then something doesn't work out right within that communication, it might be because of the man didn't fully listen. Like there's a high possibility he didn't hear it, whether he chose to not hear it on purpose or it was accidental. That can happen, right? And I have accidentally not heard something. That is where the miscommunication can happen more often. That's the reasoning for the miscommunication. It's more likely that he did not hear the instructions correctly. The instructions weren't clear enough for him to comprehend. As opposed to the opposite, when a guy describes something to a woman or tells a woman something, usually it is really, you know, specific of what he's saying, but sometimes the woman interprets it differently. After he said it wrong, said she interpreted it wrong. You know, and so that's important. And that's the thing with communication. It's like, you got to understand what the other person's saying. If you're from different cultures, right, and you have accents and blah, 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 it's important. If you're with a man with an accent, you better be able to understand what he's saying because he has an accent, which means he's going to pronounce things differently. That gets into something else, but that's the thing. If you're going to date a guy who doesn't speak the same language as you, you better learn as much about his language as possible so you can better communicate with him. Don't ignore how the language he speaks a lot of, and you know, or if he has an accent because of that, you know, don't ignore that and overlook that, and then just be like, oh, I'll be okay, and then y'all end up arguing a lot because you misunderstand him. Oh, I didn't understand your accent. It's just I couldn't understand. Like, well, you need to learn to understand. You don't have an excuse not to learn to understand because it's important, especially for the relationship, right? You need to know what your man is saying when he's saying it. Don't think you know what he's saying. Actually know what he's saying, and then confirm it. Nothing wrong with asking more than once to clarify the instructions. Sometimes repeating it, so that way it's obvious that, you know, you heard the instructions, as well as, you know, you're letting the person know that yes, you heard the instructions and you're able to repeat it, which means you comprehended it. If you can't repeat to me what I told you, there's a high possibility you didn't understand what I said. Maybe it's because maybe I pronounced it wrong, or you just wasn't listening, or it's just you interpreted wrong, right? There's a possibility that you thought you were listening to me, but in reality you were thinking you were listening to me. So in your mind you were formulating what I'm saying to you, but it wasn't what I actually said to you. That could be a possibility. That when I'm talking to a woman, and then suddenly she starts acting like I said something I didn't. I'm like, I never said that. Why are you saying that I said something? I didn't say that. I did not say that at all. You think I said that, but I didn't actually say it. So don't put words into my mouth, as they say. Wife resume. Child care. Knowing how to interact with children, to take care of children. That's important, obviously. To be a wife. It'd be a good idea to be healthy for yourself. For having babies. Make sure you're capable of having babies. Don't just be ignorant and not know that your fertility and whatnot, if you're capable of having kids or not, and then get in a relationship with a guy, and then he during the relationship or marriage is like, wait, you can't get pregnant, like that. No surprises. Women, will be quick to be talking about they don't want somebody, they don't want people lying to them, they don't want men lying and blah blah blah, but they themselves lie. Not only do they lie to others, they lie to themselves more often than they lie to others. Men, there's men out there that tend to lie a lot, but they lie to other people more than they lie to themselves. Women lie to themselves more than they lie to others. So that's a thing. So do better, people. Do better, right? Improve your skills. You gotta learn to discipline, right? To be able to control yourself. To if you have anger issues, fix that. If you have mental issues, fix that. Health issues, fix that. Right? If you're overweight, fix that. The list goes on and on. Fix whatever is on average a issue that most people will have. So if overweight is a typical issue that most people have, and you are overweight, then fix it. No one says you gotta be a size 6 or anything like that, unless that's what your husband wants. Then and you want him to be your husband, then you're gonna have to be a size 6. But or some other woman will be a size 6 for him. The thing is that if you want something, you gotta be able to give something. So if you want a husband, then you gotta be a wife. You want your husband to make 6 figures, you gotta be worthy of a man who makes 6 figures, and the list goes on from that, right? So that's why it's important for you to have a wife resume, because you want to make sure that the man you're getting with knows what you're capable of, knows what you're bringing to the table, right? The whole table thing, what you're bringing to the table, what benefits he'll gain from being with you, and vice versa. Because of course he can easily tell you what he brings to the table. He'll literally throw everything on top of the table and be like, here, this is what I bring. All he's asking is like, do you at least have a resume? Do you literally have a list of things I can look at and be like, oh, okay, okay, oh, you're good at that, oh, okay. Didn't realize you were into that kind of thing. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You know what I mean? You get the idea. Your resume should be very thorough. Like a resume would be thorough for a job. Your resume for being a wife, or at least a life partner, or whatever you want to call it, your resume should look good. It shouldn't be like I'm a woman, I'll be nice sometimes, and definitely will spend your money, and I will have maybe 1 or 2 kids or some shit like that. Like, it shouldn't, like, the resume shouldn't sound like like you just grabbed a napkin and just put some stuff down that popped in your head, and you just try to pass that off as your resume. Like, that's very unprofessional, right? You wouldn't grab a napkin and put down your your quote unquote skills and qualifications on a napkin and turn that in to a job interview. Why would you have that type of mentality, that type of viewpoint when it comes to a marriage, a relationship? The idea that you could just come in unprepared, come in with, just coming in and thinking that, the boss is going to be like, you're hired just because you came in to the interview. Like, no, you better come correct. Your resume better, your wife's resume better be on point. And that's the end of this.